everybody. Welcome in. How y'all doing? I am glad you're alive, son. So, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted. I know, I feel like I've kind of been slipping with how much I've been lately. I I've kind of been debating on swapping out low. But yeah, I've kind of been debating on maybe like putting a pause on the Metal Gear Metal Gear runs and maybe doing like actually just go getting a Game Pass and doing like Oblivion or something. You know what I mean? Oh no, just some stuff I've been debating on. Kind of was wondering your thoughts on. I also I always intend to do more of these like just chatting streams or like do like an hour of just chatting before we switch to something else. I don't know. Um Also, there is a solid chance I won't stream tomorrow because I have to I have to get a friend from an air from I have to I have a friend who has to take like a plane out early in the morning following day and like they need a place to crash, so they need to crash on my couch. So they'll probably want to like go do stuff. They're gonna be here to, you get what I'm saying. Basically, I have to take a friend to an airport from out of town. Honestly, not proud to say this, but I never played that one. Oblivion? Yeah, no, Elder Scrolls Oblivion's really fun. That is the only Elder Scrolls game I think I've beaten. Yeah. That's fair, Archangel. You're doing a good job. Keep at it. But yeah, I was debating on maybe putting a hold on the Metal Gear, even though we have 4 games left. We're like halfway through. But yeah, I've been kind of debating putting a hold on it because I kind of want to go try like either Oblivion or Expedition 33. Both of those have been like super trendy and seem really interesting, and yeah, no, I've never actually beaten Skyrim. I've tried so many times to beat Skyrim. But the thing with Skyrim is that I always end up getting distracted somewhere or I get bogged down and I never actually beat all the quest lines. But like especially never beat like the main storyline. And I can even tell you where like the furthest I have ever gotten was like that elf party that you go to with the with elves, and they're like doing their like spy stuff on Skyrim. It's actually not okay. So my problem with most Bethesda games is I will play 90% of the game over encumbered trying to waddle my way to like the nearest place to sell stuff the entire game. You know what I mean? And I will spend the most of the game like yeah, and that tends to get me like super out of it. But Oblivion was easier for my brain for some reason. I think it's because it feels there's less random stuff. Because with Skyrim, like it's kind of hard to tell what is like a quest that I should do and what is like a quest that was like randomly generated. Skyrim has randomly generated quests too on top of everything. Is indeed. Hey, you're awful. But yeah, like I said, I've kind of been debating on maybe pausing my Metal Gears a little bit to like do some other stuff. But yeah, also, to anyone who was here when I announced it, we are pushing back the tarot card stream about a week, I believe. I believe it's just getting moved to next Wednesday from tomorrow. Once again, because of the thing that I said before. So I know I haven't officially announced that in any way, but that's yeah, I. So what did you guys think of the Silver Night with Bongo? You guys, I hope you guys like that one. I I I had a good time talking with Bongo. Honestly, like I feel like I feel like I kind of take that bean for granted. I don't talk to them enough. You know what I mean? You're just like you ever just feel like you're just like, yeah, I need to talk to my friends more. Don't worry, all the VODs for I like Sullivanite is the thing I am most particular about making sure all the VODs are up for. Clover, welcome in. How are you? It's been a minute. I am doing well. I hope you also are doing well. But yeah, but yeah, what? It is Storm. Hello. But yeah, I wasn't sure about like immediately jumping right back into Metal Gear. So, I kind of was just like, my brain was like, not. I guess my brain didn't quite feel ready to just go straight game for some reason. So I figured we'll just like do some adding, or maybe we'll change to. I'm doing good. So I actually went and got like sushi today. I was probably not the best. Just probably not the best thing I could do, considering like I am not the best well off financially. Like, but sushi place next to me had a big sale thing going on. Big promo. Everything is $2. All nigiri is $2 for two play like $1 of nigiri piece. So I went and got me a bunch of sushi, and that was great for my brain. I of course I asked Bongo your question. The only questions I don't ask are those that the only questions I try to avoid are those that I think might make somebody uncomfortable. All right, Storm, have fun. You know what I mean? Those are the only questions I try to avoid. I Yeah, I need to start. I have one more guest for Sullivan Night lined up, but I'm already like I need to start thinking about like who after that. I don't want to. I just mostly just don't want to like fizzle out on doing. But I have for sure one person who we're gonna have soon, and then I have some people in mind if I want to stick with like my friends and like my like broader friend group. Just like you know what I mean, like friends of friends and people I know. But but beyond that, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do when I run out of like my immediate friend, like my immediate or and my broader friend group. Like at some point, I need to start asking people to be on who I've like either never talked to or I've talked to like once. And as that point approaches rapidly, I'm frightened. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh no, Anx- anxious bean has to stop being anxious for a minute. But yeah, but yeah, like I said, like I'm having a lot of fun, and then at some point I want to. I'm open to having people come back on too. I don't know. I feel like having too many repeats though kind of might. I don't know. Part of me almost feels like repeats might make it like cheapen it a little bit. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. Probably doesn't. Uh, I might be overthinking it. But another big thing that I really want to do when I get to the end of it, if I could have money, I want to like have like a cutoff of like a season, and then get like art of like everybody who was on for that season altogether. This is a joke. What are the chances of having Markiplier on Sullivanite? I'll be honest, right now, pretty low probably, but not zero. I could maybe find if I could find like a business email to attempt to email him. I mean, if you guys want if you guys actually want me to, I'm happy to send an email to him on like the lottery ticket chance that he wants to say yes to being on. Like, not even joking. If you could find me some way to contact him, I will send him a contact. I will send him a message asking if he's interested. Not sure I think he would say yes, but I'm happy to Hail Mary. Genuinely, if you guys even want me to try to contact a bigger streamer or something like that, like I said, like a Markiplier or etc., I will. Honestly, them being requested by you guys will probably give me a little bit more oomph to actually asking people. His schedule is starting to clear up as both his movie and the projects are starting to finish up. I know, but I think he's probably going to fill that back up with more stuff like because that man has because Markiplier's got three podcast. No wait, three podcasts. I think three podcasts. He has his own YouTube channel. He has a whole merch company that he runs, Cloak, and he also works for another YouTube channel. Like he works for another YouTube channel that's like a special effects YouTube channel. If I remember all the stuff he does, and that's not even accommodating for the fact that he's also very much the type to pick up another big project pretty soon after he goes. You know what I mean? Like he's in recovery mode, bro, picking all the stuff he dropped back off. I don't know. He's like I don't know. He might still say yes, but he is a he is a workaholic type of guy. I wish I could be more like that. I genuinely I I feel like I could be a workaholic if I had more things that I personally could be more productive on. I feel like I have like the anxiety of a workaholic of I should be productive in doing things. But then I feel like I have but then I'm also unmedicated ADHD and I don't have the skills to work on stuff that I want to work on. So it's like, oh yeah, I should work on this, and this project for the models. You mean, but we don't know what to do for that. So I guess pay somebody. Oh yeah, I don't have money. You know what I mean? Like that's where a lot of my like I want to work on stuff energy goes. It's just like, oh, that would be a good idea. Here, let's write up a plan. I need to spend a ton of money to get this going. Oh, yeah. All right. 'Cause I don't know how to do anything. I would be one too, but my anxiety and ADHD would destroy me. I think the funny part is that I think if you're working on stuff that you like, I don't actually think that I don't think it would like destroy you. I think I think a workaholic can be is like I think a workaholic working on stuff they want to work on is actually like optimum happiness. That is like a path to actual like happiness and contentment. You know what I mean? That's like a way to be satisfied with life. Is just if you're the type to always need a project and you can do that, then just fill up your life with stuff that you're doing. Make sure you take breaks and don't overwork yourself, but like, that's what other people are kind of there for. Other people just let other people drag you out of your workflow sometimes. Hey, welcome in, Mac. How are you? But yeah, I but yeah, yeah, like I said, I would totally be a workaholic. Like, I would totally do the Markiplier a million different irons and a million different fires kind of guy. Why? If I only had the ability to work on things. You know what I mean? But I but yeah, so I shouldn't have turned the music up in my on my headset. I immediately just started thinking about the song. Um I struggle sometimes talking with music in the background or okay, so want to hear how bad my ADHD is? And the funny part about this is that my parents, like Mom Vion specifically, does not believe I have ADHD. She's like, you can play video games just fine. Why you can't have ADHD? You can sit and focus on a video game or a book or a TV show. You do not have ADHD. But like, I can't have a conversation with something like a TV on in the same or music that I can hear the lyrics to clearly on because like it'll like override my thoughts. Like song lyrics, my brain will stop processing what I'm talking about and it'll just be repeating the lyrics. Hi Rigger, welcome hello. But yeah, so like I think it's funny that like Mom Vion does not believe that I like refuses to believe that I have ADHD because like I think if like anything that is just like slightly more entertaining shows up, like I said, it immediately just all thoughts gone. It's just like just like okay, now brain is just like I said, just repeating song lyrics or and it's worse with TV because I'll be talking and I've actually had a couple instances where I'll just say something that the TV said while I was in the middle of talking, or I'll just like drone off watching TV. I'm like that. I'm that person. And like, I just think it's funny because it's like, that's so clearly ADHD. Like, something else jingle, jingle, dingle, dangle, keys. Actually, I have no idea if you guys can even hear that. I actually grabbed keys. Jingle, jingle, jangle, keys, pay attention. Yeah, no, that's like 100% like. It's like 100% of, like, it's just me. All of grandma's kids and grandkids got something wrong with grandma Mac. Yeah, I think that's just a thing about like being older. Like, I found out that apparently ADHD and autism were like both discovered in the 90s? Like only in the 90s? Like and people are like, yeah, no one had no one had any of these letters back in the day when I was a kid. And I'm like, yeah, because they didn't know what they were in like what the 70s, 80s, however old parents are now, 90 or 70s, I guess 90s also. I've I know people 90s, 2000s, however old you have to be to have children. But yeah, like ADHD and like ADHD, autism, all those things just weren't discovered. Nobody knew what they were before like the 90s. Like people weren't diagnosing that. And then everyone's just like, "Nope, didn't have it. You guys are doing something wrong." I feel that, Mac. I actually I'm from an area where people were parents when I was like 17. Like I had friends who already had kids when I was like 16, 17. So, yeah. But yeah, I same. Yeah, so it's not exactly like the most. I don't even know where I was going with that. Yeah, it's not. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and gonna hit next. Song is getting um. But yeah, I see what I'm saying. Like maybe I could potentially just turn the music off entirely, but I just like I said, I just struggle to talk if I have things going on in the room that are just too entertaining. Which is funny because like my whole thing has been like, let's play video games and talk over them. But like I've like trained myself to do that. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, we've got to do like maximum like to like I've like trained myself to be able to do that with video games. And like also like I don't know, if you ever had like a sleepover or like friends or whatever, you'll sit and talk, you'll play a video game and you'll sit and talk to your friend. So I mean, it's not like it's easier to do something like that than it is to be like talk in the middle of like a movie or like while a TV show is playing or lyrics are too loud. It's a wild feeling. Hey, I saw you being unable to figure out the difference between there and there a few months ago. You created life. Oh yeah, I I feel so bad because I'm like, and I was like, I kind of feel bad in retrospect, but I distinctly remember being like, I immediately remember people being like, guess what? Like having like a friend or something being like, hey, I'm pregnant, and I'm like, I'm so sorry for you, and they're like, what? This is a good thing, and I'm like, no, you're like 18. That's not good. I'm so sorry. Your life is intrinsically your life has been set back and irreversibly altered. I'm so sorry for you. And they always got really offended. I always just like, I don't know, that's just my genuine thoughts on that. I don't know. We're gonna move on. New subject. It's good and bad news. But yeah, but but yeah, I've been debating on potentially putting a slight pause on Metal Gear, our big Metal Gear playthrough, just because like I don't know, there's some games that have come out lately that are easily accessible for me if I just want to bite the bullet for it, and cough cough Xbox Game Pass, which I was paying for even just a couple months ago, but then I traded that subscription for a gym membership. But yeah, cough cough. but yeah, so I've been debating on maybe putting a pause on it just because, like, I don't know, we still have 4 games left. Is like, if you look at the whole Metal Gear franchise, you have you have all of Peace Walker, like pretty much all of Peace Walker. We've got all of 4. We have 5 Ground Zeroes, 5 Phantom Pain, and Phantom Pain is a long game, like a really long game. And 4 is like almost entirely cutscene. So like, I don't know. Some part of me is like, maybe we're going too. I don't know. But yeah, got a bonus episode and Revengeance. Yeah, we have Revengeance also. Yeah, so we have, like I said, we have a ton of stuff still for all if we wanted to do all of Metal Gear. And I don't know, something about it feels like been I don't know. It's more of just stuff is happening and I could go do other things. But I don't know. Maybe I should just like divvy my time up more. Actually make schedules where I plan days for things. But that requires organizing, and Cell is allergic to that sometimes. Um, but yeah, like I said, that's just a thing I've been thinking about. Um, so yeah, we might be changing up the schedule and not just doing a game for long periods soon. Um, but yeah, no, I sushi. But yeah, no, I love sushi. And you know what? You know what's really interesting is that the typical quote unquote like American sushi isn't actually qualified as sushi in Japan. It's maki, which is a different thing. I A maki is like the rolls, and then sushi is specifically nigiri or sashimi, if I remember right. American sushi. Okay, actually, yeah, I can actually. I actually was a sushi chef for a little while. By that I mean exactly one summer. And hold on, I can get you a picture. So in Japan, sushi is supposed to be a. It's supposed to be simple ingredients, and it's supposed to highlight like the freshness. So in like the specificity of the ingredients, right? So you have with a real sushi, you have like 3 ingredients. It is or wait, no, sorry, 4 ingredients. You have the rice. Well, actually, okay. You have sushi rice, which is sushi plus sushi vinegar. Or why? You have rice plus sushi vinegar for the sushi rice. And then you have the fish rubbed lightly with wasabi. And you're supposed to rub it lightly with wasabi. And by was lightly, I actually mean lightly with wasabi, so that it actually kills any bacteria. It kills bacteria that may have formed on it. That's part of what makes it safe to eat. But good example of American sushi. And I think the difference is pretty stark. So you've got this is Japanese sushi. This is American. So like big surprisingly break it down. But yeah, so the thing with American sushi, that American sushi is all about mixing a ton of ingredients. And honestly, most of it is actually there to cover up the taste of fish because most Americans do not like fish as a flavor. Like, actually, I would dare say the majority of Americans actively dislike the flavor of fish. You more. I could get you. Okay, I could actually show you worse American sushi. Well, not worse. More American sushi. This is actually a pretty basic one, but like when me and Sil went to me, Sil, and Novella, and actually no, this one wasn't Novella. When me, Sil, Chonks, and Viper went to Vegas TwitchCon, we had sushi with so much sauce on it. Like, it was good, but it was like very not sushi. It was not like yeah, it was more like this. So like it's just like covered in sauces, like smothered and stuff. But but yeah, like I said, most Americans do not like the taste of fish. So the point of American sushi is weirdly enough to just like yeah, so the point of American sushi most of the time is to get to like cover up the sushi taste as much as possible with vaguely Asian flavors. So like if you look at the I bet there is probably some spicy sauces in there. They're put like the least amount of fish in there as possible. The funny part is that I feel like people only put fish in sushi to justify calling it sushi at this point. Yeah, they'll put just a little bit of sushi, and then maybe they'll put more fish on top of it. Then they'll put like a ton of like fish eggs and various sauces like sriracha mayo and regular mayo and dill sauce, and they'll just smother that. And then inside they'll have like cucumber and avocado, Haitian crab mixed with sriracha mayo so that it tastes more like sriracha than you know what I mean, so on and so forth. And it's just like the whole point of it is to cover up the fish taste. Don't taste the fish. Because fish isn't necessarily a mild flavor, but raw fish is more mild than cooked fish as a flavor, and you decide to cover it with incredibly strong sauces, so all you taste is the sauce. And even if you don't eat it this way, we'll probably also dip this in wasabi or soy sauce mixed with wasabi to make it spicy in like soy sauce. So yeah, but American sushi is a whole thing, and some of it is even respected in Japan. Like if I remember right, California rolls are a thing in Japan, and a California roll is like the most basic of American sushi. It's the sushi on the it's the rice on the outside with the nori on the inside. Then you have imitation crab, Kewpie mayo, and cucumber and avocado inside. And I'm pretty sure people actually make those in Japan. I don't think they're as common, but like I said, real sushi is literally just sushi rice and then a slice of fish with a little bit of wasabi on it. And then you do still they dip it in soy sauce too, but you have to dip it in soy sauce fish first, which means you don't use chopsticks to eat sushi at all anyway. You pick it up because you have to pinch the fish because you have to touch the fish, the raw fish, to eat sushi the proper way, and you dip it fish first into the soy sauce so it does not get on the rice because the rice will absorb too much soy sauce and it'll affect the flavor because you want just a little bit of soy sauce. But also, a lot of places in Japan don't like you to even put soy sauce on it. You eat it as is. That's like the respectable thing for the sushi chef. At that point, made some rice balls with sushi rice. No idea if it was the proper way to do it. Pretty much anything I could find is the fish, ham. Yeah, no, exactly. Honestly, I feel like onigiri is way more like American friendly than sushi. Because I think onigiri, because you can put anything in an onigiri. Like, Japan doesn't have rules about onigiri. Onigiri, you put it into, you just make rice into a triangle shape and you fill it with stuff that's tasty and wrap it in seaweed so that the rice doesn't stick to your fingers. You eat it hot. You could put anything in it. You could put literally Japan will sell stuff like Korean barbecue and Texas ribs and stuff inside onigiri. So like it's not weird what you want to put in it. You can put anything in it. People grill them sometimes. People put seasonings on them. People will wrap them in egg and right seaweed and stuff like that. Their translated name, jelly-filled donut, Brock's favorite. I genuinely, I somehow okay. The funny part about 4Kids is like they were so afraid of like foreign cultures for some reason, and there's like a bunch of sketchy stuff about 4Kids. The people who did that dub, by sketchy I mean might have been kind of racist. I think there was maybe not like racist, but like there's some weird sketchy-ish stuff with their. They were very like xenophobic. That's maybe the right word. Because obviously if you're translating foreign cartoons, you are not like racist, I guess. Like obviously you're selling a foreign product, but they were very xenophobic in like they were like we need to change this entirely to make it. They're like no one would get this, so we have to change everything. And like the like and they were also very much in the camp that animation equals children's media. So they took out all the darkness out of everything they translated. Cough cough. Like that is why YouTube. That's why in Yu-Gi-Oh you go to the Shadow Realm. That's not what the Japanese anime says happens. In the Japanese anime you die. People were dying in that manga, in that anime, in the Japanese version. And you could bring them back with magic, but people were doing dark magic and killing people in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, if you had a Millennium item, you could just be like, I wager your soul, Seto Kaiba! And then it'd be like, no! You know what I mean? And using your millennial item, you just send them to you just send them to the afterlife. Body and all. They're dead. And then you could use it again to bring them back somehow. You know what I mean? Like, cause magic, really. And they, like I said, they completely like changed and removed that. But like I said, for like that's probably one of the easiest examples, or them like changing everything about One Piece. Did you know they were getting ready for One Piece to like when One Piece revoked their ability to like cover themselves or like to when Toei removed the 4Kids license for One Piece, did you know they planned on turning Brook into a human for the entire rest of the show because they were worried skeletons would upset people. I and they wanted there was a bunch of crazy stuff they wanted to do with Skypiea also, but apparently they just they did not do a good job of it. And I'm like pretty sure 4Kids there's a bunch of stuff with 4Kids, but like 4Kids was not a very good company for the most part. I'm kind of glad that they're not around anymore. Of course, like, of course, like, there's some other. You know what is something I've actually genuinely really thought about doing? Actually, I've genuinely thought about like trying to find some kind of obscure old anime that never got an official dub, and like getting my friends together to just make an official dub for a random old anime that no one was interested in dubbing. And make it, it can be a genuine dub. I'm not saying like let's abridge it, but just like how fun would that be? Just as like a here's your random project, this anime dubbed now. Like, you know, like I said, I don't know what I would pick. I haven't looked into it very much, but that is an idea I've actually had of just like, what if I just bought an old anime, something that didn't get dubbed, and we dub it. You know, because nowadays every anime that comes out, I think most animes that come out get dubbed. I think if you go old enough and if you pick the right company, you might not even have to actually pay for it. Might just be might be able to fan dub it. Like, do you I remember back in the day that like okay, maybe I don't remember back in the day. It's like I didn't actually see any that I'm aware of because I saw more fan subs. But I used to hear about people talking about like, yeah, no, fan dubs, some websites. And I never actually went and watched any. But part of me kind of wants to. Ghost Stories dub isn't a fan made abridged series, but the actual dub from back in the day. Oh, there's another one that kind of. There was an anime I really liked that I watched entirely at 4 a.m. And so I was watching this anime at 4 a.m. while I was like half asleep, right? And I remember really liking it. And I tried showing it to my friends. And after the fourth episode, they give up. Because I think the actors realized that this anime was not going to be popular, which is funny because that anime is based off of a huge novel franchise in Japan. It's like one of the biggest novel series in Japan, or at least at the time it was. It was like it was like it was like Japanese Game of Thrones or Harry Potter or something like that, right? And it had an anime, and it was called Gween Saga. And you're watching the show, and it's actually like it starts off good, and the Japanese version seems like it's good. Like I kind of want to go watch it in Japanese, but watching the dub is so funny because like because the voice actors just start like riffing, but they still say their lines. They just start. They're like, no one's checking our work. No one cares about this show. So like, what? There's a point where they're just like, where like there's a character and be like, they're telling this big serious thing, and he's like, why so serious? And before that, he was talking like, yes, blah 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 blah. Gween, Guin Saga. It's basically about a man with the head of a jaguar doing like dark age knight stuff. Like he's got a big sword, and in the first episode he puts a like a knight helmet and all through a tree. It's really cool. But like I I feel so bad because like just the English dub is just like they just like gave up half like after 4 episodes. It's just like, yeah, yeah, this is garbage, and we're just like, all right, well, it wasn't until you made it that way. It's King from yeah, it's basically King from Tekken. I wonder. Oh, I actually wonder if he came first. because like apparently it's like an old big novel franchise in Japan. I'm pretty sure it never really left Japan, but like I said, after I watched it, like I watched it at 4 a.m. and I somehow missed all of like the like sabotaging that the dubbing team did. So, and I thought this was just a cool anime. So I part of me like genuinely kind of wants to go back and actually just watch it in Japanese, or maybe read the novels and see if they're good in some way. Sometimes I think about that. I'm like, how much stuff is just missed out by not getting translated? Best-selling heroic fantasy novel series by Japanese author Kaoru Kurimoto. Yeah, yeah. Doesn't that and literally Deathloop came first? Yeah, no, I would say so. If it's from the 70s, then I would say it came first. That's interesting. So that means that might be the inspiration for King from Tekken. Isn't that, and then like its anime gets literally like memed on when it came out. It's still going. Yeah, it's still going. At least it sounds like it is. Last I checked, I think it was still going too. So I think it might actually just be like still ongoing. Of course, considering calling it ongoing could just be like the main story is over and the author keeps writing little things about it. I mean, like, not to bring up her because she's terrible, but like J.K. Rowling still writes stuff for Harry Potter. Like, even though the story's over. So, like, one could say that that is still going. Also, do not support Harry Potter. Don't read the books. Don't watch the stuff. Don't give her money. She literally paid to remove all trans rights from the UK. She's awful, terrible human being. There's your and I know as a person who wants to get sponsors and stuff and whatever that I probably shouldn't do this, but if you still really want to or need to or just have to use some of her content, pirate it. Like I said, just don't give her money. Giving her money actively, like, it goes to getting rid of rights from LGBT people. And she has succeeded in actually doing that and continues to do so. So don't. So there's your quick PSA to not support J.K. Rowling. But anyway, um, yeah, um, but yeah, like I said, I love dubbing and voice acting, and like that was like my dream career when I was a kid. I just wanted to like because like I realized pretty early on that I can't just go be anime. Well, I mean, at that time I couldn't be anime. I mean, now we technology has advanced so far, but I always wanted like I but when I was a kid, I kind of realized I'm like I can't just go be like a hero and be like go kill the Demon King or whatever, but I could voice the person who does that in a story. So I really wanted to be a voice actor for a long time, and I still do. I I get caught up, and I've actually like done training and I've done classes and stuff on that before. If y'all haven't guessed from like me doing voices, honestly, like I am actually kind of nerfed being the way I am. I currently like my whole gender identity changey whatever blah 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 blah. Uh, because like I've lost most of my like cool voices and impressions I used to do, and get self conscious doing some of those now. But like I used to have a ton of voices that I would sit and practice all the time. That a lot of them are on the deeper, more masculine side of things. So kind of moved away from doing them as much. So kind of I'm nerfed the voice acting department, but I still would love to do voice acting for stuff. I actually had I've actually do have a friend who has done voice acting, but they got that job from just streaming and having people show up and liking their voice, which I hope someday will happen. Like some voice act some sorry, some VTubers do voice act. Like Iron Mouse has gotten multiple voice acting things. Sayu is a big a VTuber who has tons of voice acting roles, as is Amelie, who I believe also has been in a bunch of stuff. It's really cool. I can't tell you exactly what off the top of my head. I know that they've been in stuff that I've watched, though, and they've played characters that I like. So I think that's pretty. Incubus! Incubus like, has played a ton of characters that I really like. They play Mao from Devil's a Part-Timer in the English dub. You know what? Okay. Also, on a side note, I actually think voice actors don't get enough respect in the anime sphere specifically anymore. Because I feel like everybody has kind of moved to subs. And there's become like an elitism. There's been an elitism over watching subs versus dubs. And I'm like, I think that made more sense when dubs got you anime early, like significantly earlier, and um like and you just got more anime by just watching the subtitled anime. But like I feel like people unnecessarily hate on dub a lot of the time because a lot of people need to do the dub. And like I'll tell you right now, I could not watch a show as long as One Piece in sub cuz I would burn out on One Piece so easy if I couldn't like do some other things while I watched a show that long. Speaking of getting a job, my younger sister got a real cool opportunity. I'm so excited for her. Basically, she got an acting role for our government and is doing about a new program for the youth. That's awesome! Congratulations, Max, sister. I don't know why that sounded weird when I was saying it, but that's so awesome. Um, but yeah, no, the biggest, currently the big reason I don't do like or try to do voice acting is really stupid. It like I actually am kind of embarrassed by the big reason that I'm not like really trying, and it's entirely because I don't have a demo, and then now I know you're like I don't know what to send people unless they have like auditions where it's like read these lines. But like I want to have a demo I can just send to people, like have out and about for people to look at, you know. But I like for voice acting, but I the funny part about that is I have been caught up on specifically the part where you figure out what to say in the voice demo reel that I just never did it. I have made so many attempts to like record a demo reel because I've never gotten an acting role. So, like a proper acting role. Like my only thought is maybe I could take audio from me doing voice acting on stream and maybe that would work. But like I was told it's really good to have like lines that connect to each other, and it's really good to have uh and it's really good to have a variety of voices, and you need to like switch it up between what you're doing and like all this other stuff, and it cannot be a something that's like a preset template, because if you do that, then everyone else is going to have heard it a million times and all this other stuff. And it's just like, whenever I was reading about how to do that, it was just so much stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It gets to be like overload trying to just figure out like what to put here. Like the true, and then it's like, and then I was also told you shouldn't put every voice you can do in that. You need to have like your best voices. You need to have your bass voice, your best like, and then like your best couple voices. And yeah, exactly. But you also have to write it. So now I have not only do I have to figure out what voices I think I would even use for something like that, which is already kind of a big ask to try to narrow it down to like five voices that I think I do particularly well. But also I have to like write like dialogue or something for them to say or do. And then it just kind of becomes like, oh god, that's a lot. And so it's just like I just don't know what to do for that. Like, and then it's like you have to like write dialogue for the voices, and then I don't know, I probably could sit down and like make myself actually do it, like if I really wanted to. But then I'm also the type who will throw away all of the stuff I work on a bunch of times for being like cringe or something. I'll be like, oh no, that's embarrassing now, and whatever, blah 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 blah. So you know what I mean? So yeah, I almost feel like I need like a manager to just like to like bounce off of or something for that. Just be like, yeah, just here's my voice here, like, and I could just do like half, and I could just be like, here's my like best like top like eight voices. Write me dialogue to make them connect, and then I'll go record it, and then you we can send that off to an editor or whatever to like master it to make it sound like, or I don't know. You know what I mean? Just something like that. And I'm just like that just it's a lot. So that's why Cell does not have a voice acting role despite or the voice acting that role. Voice acting like demo and isn't like trying to pursue that very much. But also like I don't know. Something about me like I have tried to get like cool things like that going so many times at this point also though that like part of me almost just is like, it's not gonna happen anytime soon. Why bother? You know what I mean? Part of me, I guess, I'm a little bit defeatist a lot of the time nowadays, which is funny to say as someone tried like streaming actively and trying to be like a bit like trying to stream and all this kind of cool stuff. But like, I don't know. After the last couple times of me like trying to like do big project, like do like pursue stuff, a lot of like my big things never really worked out much. So I kind of sometimes like I actively have to fight myself to not be like, it's not gonna work out. You know, I have to actively like force the optimism. Just be like, yeah, we can do this. We can do anything. You know what I mean? So I probably just get in my head too much. I wish my brain would shut up. But yeah. But yeah, like I said, that's still something I would love to do. I Yeah, no, that's the funny part. Yeah, that's the big thing with that kind of stuff. If you don't pursue things because you don't think it would work, then then obviously like you miss every shot you don't take. You know what I mean? Why has my stuff stopped? Uh, hello? Okay. But yeah, you miss every shot you don't take. So it is important to, if you want to do something, to pursue it anyway, even if you don't think it's gonna work out. Force that enthusiasm, because you know it's real. The easiest way for something to not work out is if you don't do it. Only one way is a guarantee. The only guarantee to failure is to not do it. Don't use that for gambling. Don't gamble anyway. You never know. I could win $1 million if I put all of my money I have right now into this slot machine. Proceeds to basically set all money on fire. I really do not get gambling. Also, hello Yorktown, madam. Most gamblers quit right before they hit it big. Yeah, I don't get gambling. Like, I feel like, okay, I kind of get gambling for something like playing poker or something, right? I get that. There's like a level of skill involved. You're like, you know what I mean? You can kind of get through it with skill. At least a certain level of skill is involved, right? I don't get people who do slot machines or those kind of things. I have never seen anyone win. I have never heard of anyone actually winning something like that. You put money in, you get nothing out. And like this is my big thing. I talk about this every time. When I went to Vegas, I put in $20 once in one of the machines while I was in Vegas, and I'm just like, let's play slot machines. And I put in $20, and I got to pull the lever twice, got nothing. I'm like, if you would have even given me like half of my money back each time, I feel like I could have gotten hooked into like trying. You know, some amount of money back every time. If I put in $10 and get 650, I might be like, okay, clearly this does give money. But when I get literally zero back after putting in money, I never want to touch it again. I feel like I just threw it away. That was a waste of money. I feel ripped off. And then I never touched the machines again. And everyone was like, "So, why don't we go gambling?" And I'm like, "Why would I do that?" 65% money back guarantee is an easy loss of 100%. Yeah, like I said, if they wanted me to do that, they could have literally just whittled away my money. Instead, and like they could have got a lot more money out of me if they did that, something like that. Instead, they were just like, "And you get nothing," and then I'm like, "And you'll get nothing else." And I'm like, God, this is so poorly designed. At least with like a mobile gotcha, I get something. Like, sure, I might get a ton of stuff I didn't want, or like the thing I wanted the least a lot. But like, just nothing? Just like, you lost your money. Congratulations. Just like, holy crap, no. Coco, welcome in. How are you? Ah, but but yeah, like I said, I don't get gambling. I but there was something else I was gonna. I do play a game. I don't really play any gotcha games. Also, for that matter, the only gotcha game I'm currently playing is like the Vici Bond Stardust Skate game, and that's like it's basically like Temple Run or Pepsi Man, but you play as the Vici Bond VTubers on skateboards, and you don't put real money into it. You just skateboard and you get coins basically, and then you use the coins to use a gotcha machine to unlock stuff. But I do play a game that's kind of like that, called like the Isekai Slow Life on my phone. I do play that. It's generally not gotcha. It's kind of monetized a little aggressively though. But like I never got into like I never actually got into any of the big gotcha games like the Hoyoverse or anything like that. I've thought about trying them though. Pepsi Man. Pepsi Man. Pepsi Man. Pepsi Man. I Metal Slug when? I haven't played a I haven't played a Metal Slug game. I think since I was like 8. I remember like my brother like I believe like one of the upper units used to have used to have a version of that on one of the on like Xbox original that I'm pretty sure I played at least once. But I never really got into Metal Slug. I mean, I'm open to it though. Like they kind of seem cool. I've seen some of their like designs and stuff or some stuff in those. Too many gotcha games with encouragement from gotcha gaming buddies. Another guy sent me to start playing Niki yesterday, and now I gotta learn how to dress up so out of my element. You know, the funny part is that I actually went to start playing Nikke, and I downloaded it, and then I never actually played it. I downloaded it. I was all ready to play it because I actually wanted to play it because of the V Shoujo collab, where you could get the V Shoujo girls all did a cover of a song from Nikke, and if you played during that time, you could get a thing that allows you to have the Shoujo Girls as covers for it. And that was the whole collab. Like they weren't in the game. You just got their covers of songs from the games to replace those songs. If I remember right. And anyway, I was just like, oh yeah, gotta support my Oshi. I believe it's Nikke. And the one with the yeah, I thought I did. Is there a two Nikki games? But yeah, I yes. Wait. All right, Google Infinity Nikki. Oh, and then Nikke. I was talking about Goddess of Victory Nikke. Actually, wouldn't that be Nike? Isn't that the actual Goddess of Victory from like mythology? Hi. But yeah, yeah, but they spelt it with two K's to Nike, I guess. I guess fair. But yeah, no, sorry. Nikke, Goddess of Victory Nikke had a collab with had a collab uh with V Shoujo. So yeah, but I don't believe they had anything with Infinity Nikki. Did Infinity Nikki? Guess I'll look that up now too. So while I'm at it, Infinity Nikki. Uh, uh, just look at like wiki. Complete opposite. Um, Da-da-da-da. You know what? It's actually, you know what? I've never really thought about this, but like, if I like, maybe if I like, if I like something like a one of these kind of games, because like I said, I do play the Isekai Slow Life game. Like, man, I don't know, maybe it would be a good idea to like hit them up and be like, hey, because I do play that one, so maybe I should try hitting up like Isekai Slow Life or something and being like, and be like, hey, want to want to sponsor me and potentially like put me in the game or something? I don't really fit in with the Isekai Slow Life aesthetic, but collabs. They club with everybody. I'm so sad I missed the collab by a week when it started. So wait, Infinity Nikki did a collab with uh uh best description got a lot of combat thing, just being fashionable Japanese Disney princess. You know what? Fair. Current event. It is like impossible to navigate this wiki. This is like one of the worst wikis I've been on. Like, you can't search any. Oh, Goddess of Victory Nikkei had the. Okay. Yeah, Goddess of Victory Nikkei had a Chainsaw Man collab. It did an RE0 collab. Nier Automata. V Shoujo apparently. Like I said before. I'm here. I can just like look up the list. This is kind of interesting. Evangelion apparently. Uh, Phantom Thief versus Detective. This Persona? It is not Persona. Okay, I was concerned for a second. Um, I'm in Ram and Nikkei. Is that game good? Like I said, I never actually got around to playing these. I never actually I've never really gotten into those like super collectible-y uh kind of type games. Probably fun fight the stuff. Fair enough. Um, uh, this is hold on. I'm like, I'm weirdly enthralled by this. Nikkei is okay. Fair enough. Um, okay, wait. Uh, collab, collab stuff. I wanted to look at what they've all collabed with. But yeah, no, I see. I feel like to get these collabs though, you need to be like, I don't know. Like I said, these are kind of hard for me to like get into because like I don't know. I'm just not a fan of gambling. Questionable pull rates. Only played an hour. Fair. Oh yeah, you can get Makima and Power from Chainsaw Man. Um, or you could. That's the other thing. I hate stuff like I kind of like low key hate when a game has like super limited stuff where it's like you only could have gotten it at this one time and it's just gone forever. And I'm like, I don't know, something about that always rubs me the wrong way. I'm like, just let people have the thing. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I says the person who has spent a ton of time on the Isekai Slow Life game. Cause yeah, the game that I play, I Slow Life. Oh, and the funny part is about this game, because I do like this game, is that they market it terribly. They market it like it is like a horny game. Like it is one of those games where everyone's it's like it's like Mike. Love in Deep Space. That game. Oh, like play this on my phone. You play as you get isekai as a walking mushroom, okay, and you gain power by living by you gain power until you can turn into a full human being, basically, by essentially building up your village and your connections. You do get girlfriends. So you get a whole like lesbian and or like a whole bisexual polycule in the game, but like it's not lewd in any way really, other than like any more than like normal anime. Like it is suggestive at best, and the suggestiveness is literally with like, so essentially what you're doing is you're just like you're building up a town, because like in isekai anime a lot of the time they'll sit and they'll be working on like they'll build a town or something, and that's how they like I delegated look at me. But yeah, so you know how in anime like isekais a lot of the time they'll open up and they'll have to like build up a town or a fortress or something, and that's always like such a core part in so many isekais. Basically they made a whole game of that. So you show up and you the cat girls who run a tavern or an inn, and they are getting harassed, and you start using your isekai powers to like help them, and they were like a crossroads town between multiple cities, and you essentially but their town is like dead because they kept getting attacked by bandits, and essentially you build up this town by helping them survive their inn, like helping them build up their inn and thus build a whole town, and get a bunch of you get a bunch of girlfriends and stuff, and it's kind of goofy and dumb, but like it's fine, and it gets a little it's a nice little idle game, and I like little idle games where you collect stuff and you can have stuff build up over time. I've always played a bunch of those. So and it does collabs with anime a lot, actually. They've done a collab with they've done a collab with uh but they've done a collab with Tsukimichi, which was an anime I didn't even heard of before. Uh, Tsukimichi, uh, Suki ga Michi Biku Izakai Dochu, or Tsukimichi Moonlight Fantasy, which is actually like a really surprisingly good isekai show. Basically, basically a guy gets isekai'd by a goddess because he is owed, basically because she let the like earth isekai two people in her world forever ago, and he's like their like their kid, right? And so she needs to return, she's returning the favor because she did it, but apparently according to her she turned out ugly, so she's just trying to mess him up the whole time, and he's isekai'd in, and he's like, screw this. I'm gonna un-isekai myself. It's a good show. Um, but anyways, they've collabed with Tsukimichi, they've collabed with Kobayashi Dragon Maid, and they have collabed. They're currently in a collab that I've been working on that I've actually been playing with Reincarnated as a Slime. And like I said, it's pretty fine. I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe fun is like not the right word. Like I said, my only problems with it is that it's a little bit over monetized. They'll be like, here's a new game mode. If you get to max level, you get the character from the game mode. I'm like, cool. And they're like, yeah, but you have to pay $5 to get that. And I'm like, why? And I'm like, there's so many other things. There's so many things that like they do charge for that I'm like, okay, that makes sense. It is a mobile. It is a game. You guys have to make money. And then sometimes it's just like, really? Charging for that? You know what I mean? Tsukimichi updates slowly. I can imagine. I'm all caught up on the anime. I don't read manga as much as I probably should. But yeah, like I said, I like this. I do like this game. I play this mobile game. I maybe like I said, I've genuinely thought about uh seeing if they would like sponsor me. That would be kind of fun. But yeah, but yeah, but if you go and watch their ads, it's all like it is all gooner bait. The ads do not fit the game because the game is kind of about having like a chill time farming and building up a small town. And then but then all the ads for that game are like, find the love of your dreams only in Izakai. Izakai slow life. These girls cannot get enough of you. You're just like, why? That is not what this game is. Like, chill out. And that, like, the funny part is that, like, when like, the first ad that made me actually even start playing the game wasn't even like that. The first ad was like, have you ever wanted to be isekai? And it's all like, and it does the whole isekai, have a whole isekai adventure, build up a town like an isekai anime. And it was all like pixel art. And ever since, it all, like, they're very, it's like they ended that ad campaign as soon as I started playing, and then it immediately switched to find the girls of your dreams. Totally. Yeah, and it's just like, why? Why would you do that? Like, pretty anime girls, play our game now has been the vibe I've gotten from the ad about the game. Basically, just turn. Yeah, like I said, it's a surprisingly fun game. Maybe a bit over monetized, but like, it's fun enough. It's good idle game to play throughout your day to just like, pop on once or twice a day, do some stuff, and but yeah, they advertise it so aggressively, like so poorly. All right, I'll look up Love in Deep Space. Love in Deep Space. Maybe I shouldn't have jumped to the Wikia. Uh, Love in Deep Space. I don't. Uh, is this just like? Wait, is this like a gotcha collector thing for boys? You just collect boys? Wait, yeah, no, I've heard about that. Yeah, yeah. I think a bunch of big VTubers play this, and like, if I remember right, I think a bunch of big VTubers have like super crushes on a bunch of characters from this game. I actually like now that I'm positive I've heard stuff like this. Uh, Interesting. Hold on, wait. Are they all just like generic anime boys? Wait. Huh. Interesting. Um, hmm. I can kind of get it. Like is Love in Deep Space good? Like I said, I don't know anything about this. All I know is that a lot of people are like super into some characters from this. So like that's like the beginning and end of my knowledge of it. Yeah. Honestly, a lot of the characters kind of look like the same guy in different outfits. Hi. Now, yeah, this is me not like being mean about the game at all. It's more just like, more just like, I don't know. Um, just more like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't. What is the word I'm looking for? More just observations. But yeah, I actually like I closed that and looked back at my Isekai Slow Life game, and I'm like, oh god, I had the I had the character board open. I have so many of these characters. I have like the majority of the characters. I am only missing like I'm only missing like four of like the core characters. Stops at one. Like that's the thing with these kind of like collector games is like I don't know. I would want some like uniquenesses, like a lot of really interest. Like I would like. I feel like going all just the same human is sort of boring. Like, uh, I don't want to like sit and hype up a game like Isekai. Like I don't want to sit and hype up my Isekai Slow Life game because, like I said, I'm not sponsored, and technically, I'm not 100% sure how much like I should sit and like hype up something like how it is. Yeah, not even sponsored yet. Cat Cafe phone game. But I was just gonna say I was gonna point at that and be like, lots of variety in character archetypes and designs. But what else do I play? Like as far as like mobile games, I play the Pokemon game. Like there's like the Pokemon card game. This sound like exactly like a sponsored spiel. Yeah, kind of. But yeah, I Azure Lane. I don't okay. So I play the Pokemon trading card game. That's another one I play. The funny part is I don't even play Pokemon trading card game, and I've only ever played that twice. Even back when I was super into Pokemon cards when I was a kid, I have like never played the Pokemon trading card game. Um, but I like collecting the cards. Something about just like opening the packs in the game because they give you like a bunch of them. Like you just get like you get to open 2 packs a day in that game, and then you also get to have like these like picks where you take them from you get to take one card a couple times from like a random other person's or whatever, you know what I mean? Like pick and you get to have a copy of it. Aye. And like I said, just collecting the Pokemon cards is just already so fun to me. Cuz that's like how Pokemon cards were growing up, so it's just like it's nice to have that. Um And I kind of was playing Pokemon Cafe, but at this point, I don't even play the game. I just log in and do my like Pelipper gamble thing, gotcha for more Pokemon to work at the cafe. For some reason, I'm just addicted to collecting stuff. I Funny enough, you know, the mobile game I was super addicted to back in the day was that Simpsons Tapped Out game where you would get buildings from Springfield and you'd put them in your own little Springfield, and more characters would show up as you unlocked more buildings because they would just be attached to buildings, and you'd place the building and design your Springfield and get all these new residents, and you would just have, if you played long enough, you would have like a horde of like, it would actually start looking like the full cast of Simpsons. But like, I played that for a really long time, even spent some real money on that game. Not gonna go ahead and say good on that. And the funniest part is that I never really watched The Simpsons. I was just like, ooh, I get to build a town with recognizable characters. Hi, Bug. Welcome in. How are you? We're talking about mobile games. General Kenobi. I Okay, actually, if we're talking about like mobile games that like I spent money on, there's one in particular that I had a really bad time with, kind of, and I spent way too much money on to a point of horror because I didn't realize how much money I had spent on it until later. I spent a chunk of all of so when I was in college, when IRL Cell was in college, they would get we had to use a laundromat, and I was giving more money for the laundromat than I actually needed. And instead of being smart or even just in any way, shape, or form and spending that on like going out with my friends or even video games most of the time, I did buy some, but I spent so much money from that game, or so much money from my laundry money, on this dumb game called Marvel Avengers Academy. And it was not good. It was not a good game. Hold on, I have to show you this game. It is kind of terrible. Hold on, hide bookmarks bar. Okay. Are you guys ready for this? Capture. Uh, uh, okay. It was there for you. That's all that matters. So so there's this game looked like this. It had famous people, or it had semi-famous people playing characters. So, and it had all these events that tied in with the game, and the game looked like this. And you build a campus, like a college campus, for all the Marvel heroes to be on, and every character beyond like the core cast, which this is the core cast. Hold on, I'm probably in the wrong spot. Like, this is like the core cast. You either had to be constantly playing, like I'm talking like frame perfect timing, because you had to like wait IRL time to unlock stuff, or you had to spend real money. And I was just like, I like Marvel. I will, you know what I mean? And literally just was like, I got like every character. Like, I had pretty close to every single character. And yeah, it was bad. And the worst part is the characters were annoying. Like, you actually like, I kind of like low-key hated all the characters. Get it, Loki? Um But oh my god. Can we get like a video of this, baby? Hold on, wait. I oh god. What is happening? Uh why did it pull up Google Docs? Wait. I didn't even have oh, it crashed. Wait. What? Hey. Avengers Academy. I am so good with tech, everybody. All right. Give me 1 second. Avengers Academy. Okay. Don't do images. Let's get a video. Just gameplay. All right, hold on. I really, I like. All right, all right. Here we go. Uh, where'd it go? Okay. All right. Pause music. Desktop audio. Full screen. All right. Opening cutscene. We'll just skip that. Okay. So it's just like this. This is this game. Ready to be your hero, blah 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 blah. Pepper Potts. Like it's she is in the main story and she is like an unlocked special character. See how obnoxious that is? Every time you have any character do anything, you have a fully voiced line of let me know if you need a suit of armor. Hey, it's me, Iron Man. Let's go. Hello. Yeah. That is the whole game. Right there. I want you to guess how much money I spent in this game. I'm embarrassed about how much money I spent on that game. But yeah, no, it is a phone game. There we go. $400 higher. I did the math after I was already completely done playing this game and was horrified. Higher than $400. I 401 way higher. Okay. Try $700. I I only found that out when I did the math afterwards. I went and looked at like my iPhone like purchase receipts and died. Because and the thing is it wasn't all at once. I played that game for like 2 years. So, so I was playing that game and I was like, okay, I I want to get Spider-Man, so I need to do this, 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 and this, and I need to do that, and yeah, I guess I'll buy premium currency and the $8 premium currency to get like 1,000 premium currency because I can't stay up all night to unlock Spider-Man, you know. So I would go and do that, and then so I'd go and do that, and blah 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 blah, and then I would do that like a couple times a week. Like they would have an event. They only ever took like a week off on events. So there was a every so it'd be events constantly where you just like, if you don't get it now, you'll never get it. Blah 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 blah. And then so, and I was like dumb, and in high school, or not in high school, I was like freshman of college. So, and I believe I might have started that in high school actually. And I had a little bit of money, so I just like threw money at it and got everything. And then dumb high school Tony Stark, yeah. And I had basically everybody in that game, and it was stupid. And like I said, I went back and looked at it afterwards. $700. Didn't even think about how much I was spending on it ever. Didn't even really enjoy that game. That game gave me anxiety during my while I was taking my classes, because I would be stressed out over whether or not I would be able to make it in time to finish dumb events to unlock more characters and outfits. Gotcha, and nothing to show for it by actual game support streamers with that money now. I did play. Okay, now I will say, if you look at value as far as like how much time did you spend on this game, I probably still didn't get my money's worth, honestly. I might be it might be less of a tragedy if you look at it that way. And with like phone games and mobile games and gotcha or whatever, I'm actually okay with spending some amount of money if I enjoy stuff. But like, I refuse to ever just feel obligated to spend money consistently on anything ever again. Like, that is my big thing. Any game, like I will be like, fuck off, game. Stop asking me for money. Occasionally, if occasionally I'll be like, okay, game, I have played you consistently for so much amount of time. Here's $5 to get one thing that I like in particular. But but yeah, no, I am very particular about the games that I invest in nowadays. And if I do, I'll do it like once. Like I said, they like, it's the opposite. Instead of me trying to get my value out of the game as I keep putting money in, instead it's, if the game has earned enough value, I will give them a couple bucks if I play a game like that. You know what I mean? It's the opposite, and I have to actually enjoy fiddling with it. I just downloaded Wuthering Waves. They're doing a Cyberpunk collab next year. Wait, like Cyberpunk Edgerunners 2077? Like that kind of Cyberpunk? That's interesting. I don't know anything about any of those kind of gotcha games. I will say I have genuinely thought about trying to get into Honkai Star Rail, because they have all of the Trash Taste Boys in it. And I thought that was kind of cool. And Zenless Zone Zero was kind of fun when I tried it. We can just ignore that. It was an immersion break. We can move on. We have to kill it. You know what? Sure. I'd rather be a robot anyway. Tries to get you to spend no money on it is Limbus Company. It's too many mechanics for getting characters you want in non-FOMO mechanics. You know, the only thing I know about Limbus Company is that my friend Lumichu really loves it. Like, that is the beginning and end of my knowledge of Limbus Company. I have no idea what that game's about. Honkai Star Rail is a huge game. Yeah, I've heard it is. Like I said, the big reason I would even want to play it is entirely because like I have seen one cutscene with the Trash Taste Boys' characters being hilarious, and I wanted to see more. What's Wuthering Waves about? Like, hold on, I'll just read the. Let's just read the synopsis real quick. How about super unique? Okay. Set in a future, Wuthering Waves is set in a futuristic post-apocalyptic world of Solaris 3 after a catastrophe called the Lament wiped out most of humanity and caused unknown beings and monsters called Tacit Discords to appear. Over time, rebuilt civilization. I mean, that sounds kind of interesting. Huh. But yeah, that is something I will just own up to it. I am a sucker for like crossovers and collabs. I know that that collabs are literally they're just there to trick you. Like they are there to get you hooked. They're hooks. It's fishing lines. You know what I mean? But man, man, does they work? They always get me. I might try Wuthering Waves just because of the Cyberpunk Edge Runners crossover. Like I'm looking at it the Edge Runners crossover kind of looks cool. Uh, looks like it's Edge Runners specifically. So it looks like gonna be lit. I'm low-key excited. The funniest part to me about this kind of stuff for like with Edge Runners and Cyberpunk is it's like so anti Cyberpunk the franchise. Like I think it's so funny that like Johnny Silverhand is in Fortnite. The super anti corporate anarchist is in the most corporate game ever. You know what I mean? It just something about that is funny to me. Like it's like way to miss the point, but also this is kind of like spot on. No, everyone's been loving on Cyberpunk for a while now. It's getting another season of Edge Runners. You know, I Lucy is gonna be in Tekken. Is it Tekken? I believe it's no, not Tekken. She's gonna be in Guilty Gear, which that's a game I actually would love to get into. I want to go destroy people as Brisket. I love fighting games, and they have Lucy coming to it. Forza ever did Acceleracers collab, I would lose it. What's Acceleracers? But yeah, no, I play a ton of Hot Wheels. Oh, is a series of 4 animated films. Okay. And yeah, and we also might be getting another DLC for Cyberpunk, and we have another game coming out, which we have no idea if that'll be sooner or later because they worked so hard on Cyberpunk. You never know how much they can reuse, so it'll probably take less time than the game. Even if the only things that they weapons, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like if they just reuse like even just reuse weapons and like outfits, they're already like a significant step ahead of the game of making the new game. Just to tweak some numbers around and like to make it feel a little bit unique or different. Because like a gun's gonna shoot like a gun, especially if you're in the same engine. really just, and supposedly it's going to be in space, so I can't imagine. I don't know. I can't imagine. I imagine that would have a lot of reusing assets. Did the game justice now instead of the horror from release? For sure. Took me a while to type it, but basic scenario is CCP Foundation was real, and you're one of their units for capturing a specific SCP that lures other SCPs to it. Also, all of your characters are from famous literary books: Moby Dick, Kafka's Metamorphosis, Don Quixote. Okay. It's interesting. But yeah, like I said, I'm low-key a sucker for collector games and crossovers. I You know, the funny part is that I used to actually try to do Fortnite on stream, and like nobody would watch it, but I have put so much stuff into Fortnite. I have so much cool stuff in Fortnite. I am so upset that they canceled the MMO expansion to Fortnite. Like that was so like I was so hyped for the MMO that Fortnite was gonna make, because I was like, that's just gonna be the like Oasis from Ready Player One. Yeah, that was a cut game mode. They were literally working on a full MMO game mode. And it got canceled. And I'm like, Fortnite the MMO game mode would have been awesome. You make your own character, you collect stuff from both like all the weird multiverse Fortnite stuff has already, plus stuff from like actual IP, like gear and outfits and maybe even like player housing stuff, and that all got canceled. That was like from like 3 or 4 years ago that got canceled, and I'm still like, no. I was so hyped for that. but I but yeah, and I bring that up all the time. It would have been an astronomical cost. Oh, probably. But man, would I have probably put a bunch of money into that. Not even joking. Like I regrettably could promise you they probably would have gotten a bunch of money out of me. You know what I mean? Like, and I would have been happy to give it because I love MMOs. I man, I need cheaper hobbies. I like for real. I need cheaper hobbies. Like desperately. But yeah, yeah, I went and actually I actually like I actually was playing all this morning when I should have been working on stuff, trying to like farm a little bit in Fortnite because the season's about to end and I really wanted to get Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat because I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. I don't think I talk about that much, but I actually did for Mortal Kombat 9. I actually did like tournaments and stuff. I was like really good at Mortal Kombat when I was working on you. Yeah. The funny part is Syl is like level 200 and I'm like, how? How did you just find the time to do that? Like I struggled to like I've been struggling to play that game at all sometimes. But hey, c'est la vie, they say in France. But yeah, yeah, so many other games to play for sure. But yeah, no, I'm working through it. I I've I do have Sub-Zero now. I don't have all of his stuff, but I do have him himself. So if I don't get everything, I can live with it. But like I said, I do want everything because that's the kind of person I am. I'm like, I at least need all of the character that I wanted. Called the finals. Once you get past the cringe, it's addicting. What's the finals? The finals. Oh, okay. It looks like I. Okay, so it's like a shooter. Nice, nice. I I yeah, like I said, I don't know. I try not to I try not to toss too many games onto my plate though. Like currently I play Fortnite and I try to keep up with Fortnite. On my phone I have Pokemon cards and Isekai Slow Life. Uh I also I occasionally hop on Rocket League, but that's mostly to get stuff for Fortnite. Um I was into World of Warcraft, and sometimes I will hop back on World of Warcraft and try to like. But yeah, sometimes I'll throw like a couple months of subscription into World of Warcraft again and like try to see as far as I can go. Because I have put so much time into that game, and I've almost talked myself into doing Final Fantasy 14 a few times. The only thing that keeps me from doing that is that I don't have like legitimately. I think if like one if I just had like someone like Sil of my friend group get into Final Fantasy 14, I think it would be over and I would just go all in on that game. Got Clint Eastwood playing in the background. Yeah, I whenever I do these kind of streams, I have it all programmed so that Spotify can play, but it won't be in the VOD. So like it's kind of like how I do the karaoke's, but I don't save the karaoke because just singing and having it saved is wrong. Or not wrong. It can trigger the whatever. So I just tell it to not save the VOD. It's like live only. But I but yeah, so I've been forgetting lately because I had the background music that I don't need to actually have Spotify loaded. But like I said today, I was like, I don't really feel like playing games, so like let's just chit chat, you know. So Sylvie be gone, only the MMO player would remain. Yeah, but yeah, no, I could really go all in on World of Warcraft too. Like I loved that game so much, but like the story fell off a cliff when the writing team changed. Cough cough. By that I mean when Activision merged with Blizzard, also known as one of the worst decisions in gaming history. And yeah, the writing fell off and they proceeded to just like half-ass everything and not know or care about the stuff players wanted, and they just never wanted to tackle like their most popular requests. Like okay, you know what, day one, do you know what one of the biggest request like player requests for World of Warcraft was? Day one of World of Warcraft, player housing. Everyone wanted player housing. The newest expansion is finally getting player housing. It's like that 11th expansion. It took them that long to just do what players wanted. And then they would just make a bunch of dumb decisions. And then they would like then they would sit and try to streamline the game in ways that are bad for new players. They like only seem to want to like retain people from when they were like the 8 million people play this game era. Like that seemed like the only people they cared about was like making sure those people didn't leave. And a lot of those people left, came back, left, whatever, were in and out. A lot of them left forever. But like, they never made stuff better for like low people who are just getting into the game. I actually kind of like low key think it's better for a game to like make you actually go through everything to get to the end. Like I feel like I'm in like the small minority who is like, I actually don't mind if a game makes me play to like get to level like 150 or whatever to get there, to get to the end game. I don't play a game to get to the end game. I play a game for the whole game. But anyway, I probably have, I don't even, if I was to make a guess of how many hours I have in World of Warcraft, I would guess it's somewhere in like the thousands, somewhere of like thousands of hours into World of Warcraft. Maybe not like, maybe not like 10,000, but probably in like the 1 to 3,000 range. One, maybe, you know, I think it's probably around the 1 to 5,000 hour range in World of Warcraft. Just genuinely, like, World of Warcraft has probably eaten an entire percentage of my life. Like, literally. But yeah, like I said, I like MMOs. But Final Fantasy 14, everyone has been telling me it's like so much better. But then like whenever I try to get into like that world, it seems so disjointed. Like, about WoW is so addicting. I tried and just couldn't get into it. Really want to know. So the thing with World of Warcraft, a lot of it was like the story and the world. Like I played the Warcraft games on RTS when I was like 7 or 8, and I thought the storyline was so cool. And I then I World of Warcraft was my first MMO, so that probably is a big hunk of that too. I mean, minus maybe a little bit of playing browser RuneScape, I guess. But I with like World of Warcraft, it was then just like you had to like build up your guy and go through all these stories, and you got to meet, they treated like for a little while they treated a lot of the figures from the RTS games like they were big deals, because they were, and they like hyped up other characters, and they were like giving closure, like little bits of closure to stuff from the RTS games, but also like building other stuff up. And like there was all these like stories about, because I played on the Horde, so there's all this stuff about um like the Horde was like super unestablished, and you were doing this stuff to like build up your faction, and your faction would actually like get bigger, and like some stuff would actually like especially after Wrath of the Lich King, where they started doing like phased content, because after they because after phased content got added, like if you did stuff, it would actually affect the world visually too. They wouldn't just change text or whatever. So like, you know, there's just something kind of cool about like building your faction up, and just like the world of it. And there was like politics and stuff happening, like I don't know, something about it. The world was just kind of somewhat realized in a weird kind of way. Like if you did quests for like a group, they actually like they wouldn't join your faction unless it was actually part of the storyline. Later on they added allied races, where like factions that you like really helped might actually just join your faction and like become full on members, and then they would just start appearing everywhere, and it was like that was so cool. I But I don't know. I don't know what it really was. I guess it was just like I said, just like their realized world. Like You know what I mean? Like, so you had the two factions. They did stuff, and like it's always like two sides of the. Hold on, maybe I need to organize my thoughts on this a little bit. I think it was, yeah, the realized world. Like, if the factions were doing stuff actively against each other in the storyline, and so like a lot of the time, if you were playing, like I played mostly on the Horde, you go and play like the Alliance might be like attacking, like doing something against your port in this one area. You have all these quests to go stop that, but then if you switch over to Alliance, they have quests to go do that. And like something about stuff like that, and you just see players actively like doing stuff around you as you did stuff, and like something about that was just kind of nice and cool. And you would like build up your faction, and you'd get gear, and you were trying to become this big legendary hero. It's kind of like in like a D&D Skyrim-y kind of way. And a lot of people were all in on guilds, and I played a little bit of the era where it was like guilds were still a big thing, like in anime, where the isekai anime where they're actually like in an MMO, like Log Horizon, where like a guild used to be like an important part of games until they kind of automated the need to be social out of video games, out of like MMOs. You started making it because they wanted it to be accessible to as many people as possible. They're like stopped making it so you needed a guild and to like make friends in a game to like do the thing. So it was like that was like I think that was like the big thing that was like the signal for like the kind of the death of World of Warcraft, like gaining people, I think. But like there was something special about like having to actually like make friends and find somebody to help you if you wanted to like go fight if you wanted to fight Arthas. Like that was like one of the main big bad guys from the RTS games. So if you wanted to fight Arthas and get closer to that story, you needed to find 60 people willing to play with you after all of your, you have to get to like a high end level, or at least fairly high level, and then you needed to get 60 people to go do that with you. And you needed to practice to get through. You actually had to go and run it multiple times because it was actually required skill to manage 60 people well enough to actually make it through the whole like dungeon and gauntlet to get to the end. And honestly, 60 people might have been too much, but you had to form a guild. And a guild would have been like, it's kind of like a Discord. People join the guild and you like work towards a common goal. Like you have to save up mats for anybody who might need it. And it was like super communal and like cool. Honestly, like genuinely, I actually think like MMO guilds in real life would be like such a like they almost feel like a needed extra layer of social life. The more I like, especially as I get older, I'm like it feels like that's just like a level of support people just actually like just need IRL, where like you just like, oh, what are you going, you just like communally have like however many people get together. Usually it would probably be somewhere around like 100 people in a guild if you were gonna do raids, because like a dungeon needs a dungeon is like 20 people. There's like 10 people, right? I Actually, I was wrong. It's not 60, it's 40. My bad. Yeah, so you would probably have in a guild, you'd probably have about 100 people or 80, like somewhere between like 60 to 100 people in a guild if your guild was doing raids, because you would have people who were actively doing the raid, like doing raids. You'd have some lower levels you were building up to like come do stuff with you later, so you had people to switch in and out. And they were just kind of like it was also like a friend group. Uh, and you would do stuff like that. You may have a PvP team also. That's also another 10 people. Anybody from the entire group could form dungeon parties of about 10 people and go do dungeons. You would build up mats to equip your higher level people. That's a big thing. You would have like, so low levels can actually help the high levels do stuff like the raids. And I think that would be a bigger deal. That would have been a bigger deal in World of Warcraft if they would have had guild halls and stuff like that. So you could have these like even the low levels could feel like they're contributing to like to like the greater goals more than just throwing like 20 copper into the guild bank. But like you could actually see like maybe they could build furniture or work on stuff, you know what I mean? But like just like the whole thing was just so good. And like I said, they kind of automated it away. There's really no point in being in a guild in World of Warcraft anymore, because you can just hop in a LFG, which for a group, and they'll just match anybody who is currently wanting to do any content together. And if you're just all you have to do is appropriate level for it. Yeah, exactly. And it was like I said, it was just like a combination of being really into the lore and kind of how they did it. And they had like geopolitics happening, so you would have people talking about like uh the alliance, are doing this and this shady thing, and the horde is blah blah blah, blah, blah doing this blah, blah shady thing. And it was like nobody was like, none of the factions that you could play as were good guys or bad guys. And like there was all these factions on the side that were kind of neutral or leaning one way or another, and do stuff for that. And that's the part on Final Fantasy 14 that kind of feels weirdly missing to me. It's just like everybody, there's no like countries or division at all. It feels like everybody is just like, yeah, we together are the good guys. And it's just like they added more races and stuff later, and it's just like so now we can play as Lion Men from Final Fantasy X. Uh, what's their story? How did they get here? They just showed up. They just showed up, and nobody was like, "Oh, monster" or something like that to 10-foot tall lion men. You're like that to the lizard men that are in the game, and all these other races are your like enemies. You were just fine with the lion men. They're like, yeah, pretty much. Okay, why did the lion men show up? They just did. Okay. And then they just keep doing that. And it's just like, it would be like one thing if all the starting races were all just intermingled together enough that you're just like, all right, it's just kind of, it's been centuries or whatever. They're just all been together. It's fine. Right? Like, there's countries, kind of, but like, it kind of just feels like everybody's all just kumbaya in a weird sort of way. And I don't know why, but that doesn't mesh with me. And I get it's not the kind of story they're telling, but like, no, part of me feels like you could at least like lip service it a little bit. It just feels like weird world building. Like, it's not even like they don't even tell you where these the new races and stuff come from. They're just now there. And it's just like, yeah, like I said, and the new races are like 10-foot tall lion men and like Amazonian bunny girls, just like, like 6-foot tall, like 10-foot tall lion people, like lion furries, and then like 6.5-foot tall rabbit girls. Like, okay, just nothing. And it's just like it's just so weird. It's just like why even have them at all then if you're not gonna like go into it. Right? Then again, and it's kind of like the difference between like I think it's Western versus Eastern storytelling. Because when I think about anime, for me it was Wade. Hi, Kat. Welcome in. How are you? But but yeah, but yeah, it's kind of like the difference between Western and Eastern storytelling. Because like, if you think about an anime, they kind of treated a lot of that kind of stuff the same way. Like in Western storytelling, people are like kingdoms and groups and stuff. Like if they introduced like if they had goblins, they would be like the whatever goblin tribe of whatever, and they'd have all these relationships with all these people. And then like if you watch like an anime, most of the time like something will just be like, yeah, the goblins live here, and it's just like they won't be labeled as a different group really or anything. It's good to see you too, Bug. I hope you have a good night at work. uh, Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. But yeah, does that make sense? But like I said, I want to get into it. It seems fun. I like a lot of stuff about the game that I've seen, and I was a big Final Fantasy fan. They've kind of been making a lot of stuff I'm not really into lately. Like I love Final Fantasy. Like I have a Buster Sword from 7 on my wall, but like I sometimes like they have like 15 was so empty as a game, and then 16 just isn't a Final Fantasy game. It's like a spin-off pretending to be a Final Fantasy game. And actually, honestly, I think 15 wasn't even really a Final Fantasy game. 15 felt like Kingdom Hearts. 15 was closer to a Kingdom Hearts game, just without the Disney. And it was empty. Like there was like no story in that game. I could go on. It, yeah, it's just like the last two have been kind of bad, and then 13 was also kind of bad, and then like I've heard the MMOs are good, so I won't. And I've barely played either of them, so I wouldn't say anything about them. But and then 12 was a sequel to a tactics. Like literally, 12 is a tactics game, which is fair because there was a lot of tactics games, and I think it deserved to get a whole game like in the main line in that universe because they kept using that universe. So that I think that made sense for it to get its own game. And if there was going to be another game style, I thought like for a mainline Final Fantasy, I think tactics getting one made a lot of sense. But then it's like what 10? 10 was like the peak of like the Final Fantasy formula, I feel like. And they just like the last game that I was like, this is Final Fantasy, peak Final Fantasy was 10. Just like that was so long ago. You know what I mean? It gets hard to be like, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy, but I'm like, I haven't liked the last 6 games. Well, I either haven't liked or haven't played the last 6 games. You know what I mean? Like, give 12 a pass, but and the MMOs, but let 14, 15, and 13 didn't like any of them. And they've implied that they want to go more in the line with 16 going forward. And I'm like, I very much want you to give up on ever doing that again. Just go back to actual Final Fantasy. I don't know. I don't want to be negative on stuff though. That's like a big thing. I'm actually I like oh 10 was 24 years ago, right? Like I when I played 10, I was like it was already an older game, which is crazy. But yeah, no, I've played as far as Final Fantasy goes, I have played 1, never beat it, and 2, same as 1. I have played 3, specifically the DS remake. I have played I've played 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then I've played Tactics, a couple of the Tactics games. I don't even remember which. And then I've played 12 and 13. I never beat either of those. So, like I said, I used to be like super into Final Fantasy because I my older siblings were super into, but it's kind of hard for me. Like, yeah, Final Fantasy is like my favorite game franchise anymore. Like I said, because I haven't liked the games. And is the main guy getting hiccups from eating fast? That weird hand foot part fighting a kraken. Yo, Blitzball was so good. Like the fact that they didn't make Blitzball a whole spin-off is kind of crazy. People would have played that game. That game would still be popular if like they could have started to release Blitzball as a spin-off and it would probably sell like FIFA, I think. I think people would have been into that. Like not even joking. Just combined water polo, American football and soccer and put it all underwater with Final Fantasy races and factions. Just I'm in. I don't know why. I don't know why that sport got me in a way that no IRL sport has ever got me. But I was all in on Blitzball. I would do Blitzball. Like I would have killed for that. Like genuinely, I would have loved a spin-off of with Blitz. uh but yeah, I said I love Final Fantasy. I'm kind of bummed at the way the franchise has been going. I kind of struggled to be like he's my favorite franchise anymore. But yeah, I would I still love cactars and chocobos and conberries and I still like I occasionally get stuff with them on it and I have a Master Sword and I you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm still and I have all the games basically. Like at least 7 on. I have like basically every single game. So but yeah, I yeah, man. But why? I'm not even like that's my problem with like saying stuff's like my favorite game because like every single time every single like all of my like major favorite franchises all started going directions that I didn't they ended. Like Metal Gear is over. So, you know, that one's up there. I could be like, yeah, I love Metal Gear. It's one of my favorite video game franchises. Great. I can only really do that because it's over. Like, yeah, I it never had a bad game. Good job, Metal Gear, or at least a bad game that I played. Never went in a direction I didn't like. I mean, unless you count Survive, but we can kind of easily ignore Survive because that was sort of a cheap cash grab by Konami. But but then like But then I could like feel like Final Fantasy kind of fizzled a little bit. Zelda, didn't really like the last two Zelda games. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know what I mean? It gets hard to be like, I love these things. I mean, like, I wonder if that's just like the pessimism of getting older. Maybe things actually are just getting worse. But it feels like if things get over a certain age, they just kind of start to not be as. I think that might be a watching all the things that you like slowly get worse. I not saying I would even say I don't love Zelda anymore. For the record, I still love Zelda. They have not disappointed me in the same way that Final Fantasy has. Like man, I'm still upset about Final Fantasy. I'm like, how can you drop the ball so bad? And then they'll go and say, then the people at Square Enix have the gall to be like, yeah, we don't think turn-based strategies really make sense anymore. And I'm like, what do you mean they don't make sense? But your biggest competition in the West is Persona, a turn-based strategy game. But then the funny part is that I know that they're not even looking at Persona as competition. Like they don't view Persona and them to be in the same like game bracket. I think they're looking at Skyrim and Elder Scrolls, or not Elder Scrolls, Skyrim and like Elden Ring, and it's just like we need to be like that, and it's just like nobody wanted you to be like that. Look at Expedition 33; it's doing amazing. Yeah, people want those games. Stop doing this. And then also, like Final Fantasy is also like we have to be the best graphics, and it's just like no one played you for the graphics. People played you for your worlds and story. Why are you like? Why are you like going all like in on graphics every single time? Please stop. Phone it in once. I get that it's good, but make a bigger game. Stop shortening your games. It used to take like weeks to beat a Final Fantasy game. Like like if you were to play a Final Fantasy game like as a reasonable human being and not like a streamer, because a streamer could beat a Final Fantasy game in a couple days. But yeah, if you were to look at like an old Final Fantasy game and you played it like a couple hours a day, that would take you weeks to beat. Nowadays, like I could beat most final like all the Final Fantasy games have been so short. And they're just like a hallway. And like they used to be like open world whatever's with like hundreds of hours in them. And it's just like maybe you could still do that if you didn't like you didn't make the graphics look like you didn't aim for like better than real life graphics for 1 million copy. Yeah, I know. I want to play that game really bad. It looks so interesting. But yeah, I but yeah, like I said, Final Fantasy bums me out. And it only bums me out because I love Final Fantasy. They just missed the whole point of why people like them. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just so sad. But but yeah, I'm always hoping that I'm really hoping that like more in like there'll be more indie stuff that to like kind of fill in the gaps. Like the funny part is that there was a time when I actually viewed indie as like kind of inferior in a way because it was like it's just some guy really making a game. like there was a brief window where I was like so sure that indie was like I was looking at indie as like crappy flash games. I higher fidelity really is unnecessary at this point. We're already simulate pores in human skin. I think we're good. I don't even want to see the pores in people's skin. I don't want to see the pores on people's skin IRL. Like, you know what I mean? I would kill for us to just like go with like smooth shell. Like, honestly, I think the Xbox 360 PS3 era was actually pretty solid as far as graphics, and I feel like even it was a little bit pushing like too much. Like we can smooth things out, go more styled, stop making trying to make things look realistic. Realistic is bad, but can we all just we have that be the new like theory? Do some design, get an actual art team. So many games so damn pixelated despite all these graphic quality updates. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, yeah, I like I said, I just want games to be well designed. Like get some art, hire artists. I feel like because it kind of feels like nowadays going for realistic is to like just like not bother having like much art. Especially okay, I I feel like if you are wearing regular everyday clothes, I feel like, and then your character is like high end graphics now. I feel like you had a wardrobe department and not an art department. Art. Yeah, you're spending 10 times the budget to have less artistic liberties. Yeah, exactly. And like, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I just I feel like they could do stuff better. So, but yeah, I'm leaning more towards like wanting to get more into like the indie sphere more. My only problem with the indie sphere is that it feels like no, but like it somehow feels like all of like the big indie people don't like make one game and stop. That's my only real problem with because like a good example is Shovel Knight. So Yacht Club Games made Shovel Knight. Okay. And then they made some DLC for Shovel Knight. And those are almost full games, so it's like, okay, cool. Good job, Yacht Club. You did it. And then they're like, okay, we made a spin-off of Puzzle of Shovel Knight. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, and it took us 5 years to make something else. We took like a long time between that and Shovel Knight. It's just like, make something else, maybe? And then they just didn't make anything. It's just, I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, part of me feels like sad that the moment I heard this game, I thought, did I just get rickrolled? Not just, not just enjoying the song. uh, but yeah, but yeah, that's like my only problem with studios is they seem to make like one game and be done, and not try to like grow into like a game studio, like a proper game studio. Like, and I think it's impressive when one person makes a game all by themselves, but like, do you did you just want to make the one game? You know what I mean? Like, and if a game studio, like an indie game studio, disbands or something, like I don't know. I feel like I just never hear about the game after they game, or they only make the one game. You know what I mean? Like the only exception to that is Toby Fox. Toby Fox made Undertale, then he made Deltarune, and he's still making Deltarune. And Deltarune seems to be bigger than Hell, I've never like I always wonder like what is like the person behind what is the team behind Celeste doing? Or what is the people behind uh yeah, like what is Yacht Club Games doing? What's Way Forward doing? Like you just never hear about them making stuff after they made their big games. And it's just like and if you do hear about them, it's always more of the franchise they already made. So like I said, it's not like that's like my only real like gripe with it. It seems like everybody just like wanted to make their dream game and then bail. Still adding more content to the game. Yeah, that's the other thing is that sometimes I feel like they should accept games being over more. Also, that's another issue I have with games is a lot of the time it feels like sometimes they'll make a game, it's done, and then they'll just keep making stuff for the game. And a lot of the time, people will just be done playing it, and just like, but they'll be continuing to make more stuff for it. And it's just like, maybe you should have a cutoff point where you know, stop and work on the next game. You know what I mean? And this is not me being mean or disparaging to the. Just like sometimes I'm like, I feel like you'd be better spent having more of a pipeline going. Try to like go. Because it almost feels like they're like like banking behind one. And this isn't me like, or maybe they didn't want the success, or like I said, it could just be like it's a hobby passion project and they are just enjoying the whatever. I'm not sure, honestly. I'm not sure where I place that, like genuinely. But I, like I said, I think more games should accept me. How old is Vampire Survivors? Like, still play that game? Obviously, people play it here. It's like, it's like, guy. So yeah, like I said, I know people still play it, but like, people, at least like, it's completely out of the streamer sphere now. And I remember when it was like a flavor for like half a year. People were like playing that all the time. So I mean, it could just be it's like a difference between like the streamer sphere and like general player sphere, but I'm not sure. Because after a certain point, streamers don't play games because you know what I mean. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, just kind of like random, like spur of the moment thoughts on that regard, I guess. I don't know why. Um, yeah. Like I said, I would love to see. I would love to see more from more game studios that seem to sort of stop. Like yeah, like I'm pulling up one right. Like you know the yeah okay so yeah so like yeah here's a good example. Yeah, Celeste came out in 2018, and that studio has not done anything. Yes, Chalk Eaters. This is actually my karaoke list, or at least it yeah karaoke playlist. I I've been making a karaoke playlist for the next time I do karaoke. which is different than some of my other playlists. I got a playlist for like I used to just play like I used to just play all the liked songs I had, but I'd have to filter it too often. But yeah, yeah, like dun, dun, dun. But yeah, but also like it could just also be that I'm expecting how long it takes to make a game. I mean, I have tried to make like I've actually talked about like I've talked about on stream messing with game creation software to try maybe making a I will never forget the day of playing Doom Crossing next time. Aw, cute. The funny part is I still have yet to play 2016 Doom. Or the I've yet to play the like reboot at all. But I played so much Animal Crossing. Actually, I think Animal Crossing New Horizons was the one of the first games I streamed. Actually, it or Subnautica. But I was trying to build like a whole town, like hyper designed on it. I mean, I think it's more like a good new jumping off point. Kind of like when they make like Spider-Man Issue Zero, and it's just like all this stuff before the canon, but like this is just we're not continuing plot lines. We're starting over kind of. You know what I mean? All the old plot lines happened, but we're we're, here's a cutoff. Nothing is getting continued past here. Yeah, I but I think it's safe to say we're probably not playing a get like zero context on who the guy is and or oh yeah, you're playing the same Doom guy from before. Right to now gone. I I you know the funny thing is that I've been having like this random feeling lately like it's been harder for me to like do singing specifically like almost like my voice every time I try to hit note it's like I've been like suddenly like guy I don't have like the air for it anymore and I wonder what happened. It's like it's like ever since like spring started. I wonder if it's like allergies or something. Or maybe I just haven't been singing as much as I because like it doesn't affect me talking. It only affects me when I try to like sing specifically. Might be allergy. Yeah, that's fair. Uh yeah, other stuff. Modern Doom games are so vastly different from each other, but I feel like people really talk about that. You're superficially the same, but actual gameplay they focus entirely. I can see that. They I like I said, I haven't played them though. I've never honestly, I don't think I've ever actually I think the only Doom game I ever played was the original because I beat the original on an original Xbox, hilariously enough. Although I'm pretty sure I know Doom from or way before that. Doom's like a but I That's the only Doom game I ever played. Cutting off a lot. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. It's the microphone. I really need to get a new microphone because, like I said, if I just turn wrong and project my voice weird from if I project my voice weird towards my microphone, and sometimes it'll just do it anyway. It'll just cut me off, and I don't know why. And like I said, I really need to get a new, better microphone. Yeah, I also need to get my PC fixed because of the faulty power thing, and I need new headphones because these ones are breaking, and I'm behind on all the stuff I wanted for stream. And so many of the projects are so like are just frozen because I don't have the money to put towards them. Like if Cell was suddenly if Cell suddenly like money, money. Yeah, I know. It's all money. Like if Cell was just if Cell just had a job that paid them more than their cost of living, because like that's basically all I make at my day job is like I make my cost of living plus not counting food plus about $100. So like Cell basically just like yeah, I make like $300 more than what I paid to just live. So I pretty much just kick the can forward every month, and I'm unable to like put money towards anything streaming wise or save any money or even really like. And I have to like be really careful with how much money I spend on food. And it's just like a lot of just like hi. And I'm just so still had like I have so many projects in the works. I have a folder with like 30 tabs in it on my bookmarks bar of people who I want to hire for like commission stuff from for big projects, and all of them are just held back by money. Like all of it is money. Like if Cell suddenly had like I said, if I could just suddenly have like an additional like $200 or $300 a month, then like so much stuff would start happening. Like we would like not to just like complain, but like we would have song covers, we would have emotes, I would have cooler merch happening, I would have so many things would be happening already. Because I could just pull the trigger on it. Maybe not like instantly, obviously, but like so many things would be like start happening. Like I don't know. It'll happen when it happens, I guess. I'm working on it, trying to at least. On it, yeah, doing your best. Yeah, like I said, I've been looking for like not to like do IRL cell talk much, but like I've been looking for like a better day job that could like give me more money for over a year now. And like I don't even get interviews. I get nothing. Like I just send out my little resume out into the void to never hear from it again. A lot. Poor little soldier. But yeah, yeah, stuff out there is not really. Honestly, at this point, it's like it's nothing. Like I kind of like I don't even really expect anything out of like trying to like I'm at a point where I'm like, man, maybe it would just be a better idea to just like go get a loan and try to start a company or something. Go start like a cafe. Just like, cause like I've looked at stuff like that and just been like and seen stuff like, yeah, storefront property, $200 a month, and I'm like, oh, all I'd have to do is like get coffee or blah blah blah, and just like that seems more doable than just finding a job that'll pay me more than what I'm currently making. Yeah, yeah. We're at a point where like for an apartment in a big building, it's like $1,000 a month. But to have storefront property in a slightly less good area, it's like $200. But it's illegal to live in storefront property, so you can't like live in a back room. And we don't build apartments above like stores, so you just like it's just like a thing that can only be used for a business. So you're like, well, you know what I mean? Stuff's crazy. But you put a house there, that's $1,000 a month, maybe more. Yeah, I think I think the fact that I'm talking about stuff like this is a sign I should probably wrap up stream. You know what I mean? I think this is a good sign that I should probably call it a night. I great idea. All right. Let's see. Um, let's find ourselves someone to raid. Like currently normal list. So let's see if I have somebody in this list. I have multiple lists of to like look at for people to raid. I have a list of like these are convenient if you don't want to think about it, and then I have another list of people who are like if you want to think about it a little bit harder, and then I have the backup of go look at uh, go look at people doing whatever you're currently doing. Uh, let's see here. Let's go raid. Um, uh, there we go. All right. So thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope you all had a cell of a time. Sorry if this was kind of a weird stream. Uh, we should actually be back to we'll be back to streaming some kind of game pretty soon, I think. Yeah, just chats are always fun. I always like genuinely I have wanted to just do like an hour of just chat. I've been wanting to like start streaming earlier and have like an hour or two of just chatting before every stream, before we even switch to a game. But I am notoriously bad at having my shit together, so I never actually could get myself to be ready before like 7, 8 o'clock at night. But anyway, y'all know the drill: Discord, socials, Patreon, merch, Advanced GG. Check out our sponsor, Advanced GG. Code Selvion10 at checkout. And I hope you all have a wonderful night, everybody. Bye. See you tomorrow. Or actually, probably not see you tomorrow. See you Thursday. Like I said, I have to pick up a friend from an airport and they're going to crash at my house. So I probably shouldn't promise tomorrow. But anyways, bye everybody.